Jack, Mr. Harlow, baby.
Harlow was one of the biggest rappers in hip-hop. With songs like What's Poppin', First Class, and Industry Baby, there's no doubt he had a crazy run in the early 2020s. But fast forward to just a few years later, and it seems like he disappeared, with no one really talking about him anymore. Most recently, he put out a single with Doja Cat that had a big music video, but it just came and went. Something that was not always the case.
Right, that was the last thing they came out with. Because I was asking myself the same question. I was like, yo, where did this nigga Jack Harlow go? Bro, he was getting pumped heavy, pause. Oh, that's crazy. Why did I say that? He was getting pushed heavy by the label, is what I mean. And then all of a sudden, that whole thing just stopped. We had a couple records with Drake. He had that Lil Nas record too, and everything was just, there's this heavy momentum, especially from where he came from to this point. It was like that. He finally now you could declare that you could say, oh, Jack Harlow blew up, but then he just kind of fell off. So let's find out why this might have been the case
for Jack. And I think that there are three main reasons for that. But to understand that, we have to go back to the beginning. Also, real quick, I have to say it. I know I'll just finally address it once and for all. I know I look like the Temu version of Jack Harlow or the many other worse things you guys have said. I had his name hidden in the comments for a while just because I saw it so much. But here's a few just to get an idea of how many there are. So yes, I get it. I sort of see it, whatever. And now that we're finally past this, let's continue with the video. Before Jack Harlow blew up with the track What's Poppin', he did have a promising buzz in the underground rap scene. Around this time, he became friends with the comedian Druski, a friendship that started well before the two found the level of success they've reached since. In an interview with Complex, the two became friends with the comedian.
What is this? They're just hanging out playing Xbox? Why does Jack Harlow look like that? Fame was there. Money really changes a nigga, huh?
And Druski, a friendship that started well before the two found the level of success they've reached since. In an interview with Complex, the two told the story of how their friendship came to be. Druski ironically first found Jack after Diddy shouted him out on Instagram. He said, I saw Diddy post something like, this is the next kid, he's the one. So I'm like, yo, Diddy doesn't even post shit like that. He'll either put himself or himself. I checked Jack's page out and I was like, yo, this song is a banger. The song Druski was referring to was Jack's Through the Night with Bryson Tiller, and after listening to this, he heard the song Sundown as well, to which he said, okay, this white boy is it. Many fans even point back to this era of his music as his best, because even though later on he made some way more commercially successful songs, some people say they all kind of sound the same, with his older music having more variety and personality. But around this time in 2019 is when Druski decided to hit up Jack. And at this point, Jack said he'd already been a fan of Druski, following him on IG for 3 months already, and putting people onto his videos all summer. So they finally started talking and hit it off right away. And Druski even offered to hop on Jack's tour as an opener.
Just a personality. I found out that he lived in the city of Atlanta at the time. Linked up with him and we hung out. Of course, we were not really known then. I just heard about him and he was like, yo, I'm going on this small tour. And I went on tour with him. We were on a bus with like a whole bunch of people. We were showering at truck stops, just, you know, crazy stuff. But it just, we stuck through it and pushed through, even through all the struggles through that. And we used to have these talks on the tour bus, like, yo, when we make it, like, we're gonna go big, man. Like, we used to really like lock in, like, late at night and be like, bro, I can't wait. Like, we just had all these goals that we would talk about. And it's crazy to see both of us transcending and just going up now. It's just like wild to watch, man.
Druski and Jack agree that the reason they get along so well is that they both had a very similar life goal. And while they worked in different industries, their social media overlap led to them grabbing the world's attention around the same time.
Life like this sure is sweet, huh?
It definitely is.
Another funny thing is that the two were pretty competitive because neither of them said they wanted to be the broke friend. Druski even said that when What's Poppin' came out, Jack shot through the roof. He had money coming in, but he was such a good friend. He would pay for shit and just be like, yo, I got it. So now that I'm where I'm at, I tell him, I got it, I can pay for it now. And their joint success even brought in business ventures together, like the unscripted Call of Duty Warzone trailer they featured in.
That was hard. That trailer was hard.
There's a radio, let me turn the radio on. That's not a radio! Relax, I got it. You got a deal.
The reason I bring all of this up is to point out that I really do think Jack Harlow and Druski's relationship was huge in Jack Harlow's career. To this day, I still see clips on TikTok of the two hanging out together in all of their funny moments.
Goat vaccination spot. They're trying to get political.
Yeah. What is going on?
Why even?
That says vacation, dumbass.
Go vacation spot, my fault. Go vacation spot.
How did you read vaccination?
So I've got Jack Harlow here. I just wanted to ask you one question. What is up with the fouling, and why would you say you're fouling so much out here?
You are so fine, bro.
Other than that, I'd like to ask you about the game, man. You're really persistent. You're a great guy. What are you looking at?
When are we gonna talk Kyrie?
Yeah. We are not going to talk about that. We can talk about.
What's that? Nigga! Yo, this nigga Jack has always been slightly sus in it. I mean, I was gonna replay it again, but nah, I'm good on the susness, bro. I'm good on the susness.
More questions, though.
Talk about real stuff.
Ain't nobody keeping it real no more.
What are you looking
Nobody
for?
want to discuss the elephant?
What do you
And Jack Harlow was a very funny guy, so much so that it got to the point where apart from some of his more popular songs, he was mostly known for his personality, with fans saying things like, Jack Harlow is just naturally funny. He never forces any of his humor, which makes him so likable, in my opinion. I was just thinking about this. I barely know any Jack Harlow songs, but the man got my utmost respect. It's because he's okay with being himself. He doesn't try to portray anything he's not. Anybody who masters that is very likable. So his personality, humor, and viral moments with Druski were instrumental in launching his career. And another big part of his launch, aside from his social media virality, was the release of the song What's Poppin' that I mentioned earlier. This song was accompanied with a Lyrical Lemonade music video, who at the time was well known for putting artists on. The track placed top 10 in Billboard's Hot 100, led to a remix with DaBaby, Tory Lanez, and Lil Wayne, and also even got nominated for Best Rap Performance at the Grammy Awards. It basically took Jack from a popular up-and-comer with a few good songs to a mainstream artist worthy of collabs with some of the biggest names in the genre, and it even landed him a spot in the 2020 XXL freshman class. Jack Harlow is now a mainstream rapper with a ton of opportunities. He put out his debut album, That's What They All Say, which featured a song called Way Out with Big Sean that was a big success. The album debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and sold 51,000 units. He started working with artists like Eminem, Cordae, and then he did the track Industry Baby with Lil Nas X, which was another huge hit. After the single came out and was going crazy, even Kanye jumped in and said that Jack Harlow was top 5 out right now.
Wow, what a wild take. You all know Ye's takes, they're crazy, fam. That song was actually not bad. It was actually not bad. The song with Lil Nas X, Industry Baby or whatever, it was actually a banger. The beat on that is hard, not gonna lie.
Then he started to prepare to put his second album out, Come Home the Kids Miss You. He began the rollout with the single Nail Tech, which did fairly well, but then he put out the single First Class, which was a smash hit. The song sampled Fergie's hit song Glamorous, and it heavily relied on it. Despite the criticism of the song for overly relying on the sample, it went crazy on TikTok and blew up. Side note, this was kind of during that trend of artists sampling already super big hit songs, and then kind of not really changing them up enough to make it worthy of the sample. It was just such a lazy and boring time, but it was working, and clearly Jack was capitalizing on that. Then Jack released the album Come Home the Kids Miss You, which went crazy, especially due to the First Class song. It debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and sold.
You know what? I think the problem here is that it's very simple to see that. I think the problem with not, and I don't think this is a problem specifically for Jack Harlow. I think it's specifically just a problem for the times. It's a problem of the times. Because we could sit here, we could blame the label. We could blame Jack for posting too much on social media and being too much of a social media influencer, I guess you could say. We could throw blame at all these things, but realistically, who should we really throw blame at? Is you, the viewer watching. The man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, the hermaphrodite in the mirror, the he, she in the mirror, they, them. That's who you should point for. Because it is you who is dictating the market. You're dictating the choices that are being made by the higher ups. They're deciding the fate of their artists based on your consumer choices. So when you go around wanting song after song after song in this microwave era of music, it turns these artists into almost, they're not even human beings anymore, they're cattle. But that's always been the problem with the entertainment industry, is that talent has never been respected. Okay? They want you now because you're hot, and then the next day you're gone out the door if you're not able to reproduce hit after hit after hit, okay? You have to almost be a factory, and then that destroys the art because you're just now trying to recreate something that you've already done before versus growing, okay? This has always been the problem with anything commercial, but it's the problem of the market. The market eats things up too quickly, so the brand, the reputation of Jack Harlow, I believe, was just consumed. It had its half-life and it was consumed. It's done. You're out the door now. You know what I mean? It's no longer 15 minutes of fame. It's 15 seconds of fame, bro. It's 3 months of fame and you're out, you're gone.
Sold 113,000 copies first week. He had a Drake feature, a Lil Wayne feature, a Justin Timberlake feature, and a Pharrell feature. He just had a star-studded feature list. Jack Harlow was on top of his game and arguably at the peak of his career. But this whole time, there was some sneaking criticism of Jack. Despite all of his commercial success, a lot of rap fans just weren't too fond of the pop rap records he was putting out. His album, Come Home the Kids Miss You, came with a lot of criticism from the greater rap community.
When Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B make wet-ass pussy, they're ruining a generation of young women, they're poisoning their minds, they're destroying the youth. But when Jack Harlow makes an entire album about fucking, about womanizing, about just being a dickhead with zero substance or layers to him whatsoever. Oh, he the next Drake. And don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with this album because he got a bunch of bitches. I just can't overlook the hypocrisy. Nigga has a bar on this album talking about his semen. Some of these bars are bad, but they're worse when you put them in the context that he uses them in. Unprovoked. I like to dictate things, Kim Jong. What the fuck are you?
I won't use your name if you feel like it don't belong. But I'm just so inspired by the way you wear that thong. What is that, a Cisco bar? You look like, I like to dictate things, Kim Jong. I know that. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about?
Am I handsome enough? Now them same girls got coke in their nostrils. Something done made the youth hostile. Maybe it's the fuel from them fossils?
Undeniably, the album was a pretty weak album from a rapping and production standpoint. Like, it was far from groundbreaking. The album also received mixed reviews from critics, but honestly the place that I saw the most hate was on Twitter, and they were pretty ruthless. In the span of just months, it went from people talking about how everyone loved Jack Harlow to every single outlet talking about how much hate he was getting online because of this album. People were saying things like, the Jack Harlow push was crazy. He received a sneaker deal, was on every magazine cover, was on every talk show, did SNL, tried to sing, and in return, he dropped a mid-album in between Future and Kendrick Lamar. You can tell the industry is pushing him very hard to be the next pop star. Jack pushes zero boundaries in his music. I don't feel like I missed anything not listening to him. I don't remember who exactly said it, but around this time, someone said that Jack Harlow just feels like a watered-down, more boring version of Drake, and honestly, I agree. His raps weren't really anything special. His instrumentals were very Drake-esque. It was just pretty boring. It wasn't even like he made a bad album or something or did something wrong. People just hated him because of the album being so painfully plain and boring that people were fed up. Come Home the Kids Miss You, despite its commercial success, was the beginning of the end for Jack Harlow. One of the biggest criticisms of Jack Harlow around this time is that he went too pop, and I sort of agree. His music was never too underground or unique to begin with, but he definitely doubled down on the pop rap type of music to keep that commercially successful money coming in. However, I think after all of that criticism, he heard that and wanted to prove to rap fans that he still really could rap and put out some good music. So Jack Harlow got to work and began putting together his third studio album, Jackman, which interestingly enough is his first name, Jackman. I don't know, that's just a strange name to me. Normally it's like Jack or Jackson or something, but I guess. Anyway, it was somewhat of a surprise drop with not much of a rollout, and the album cover gives off a vibe of being back home as it was shot in Louisville, Kentucky, and the cover just made it seem like he was going to try to go back to his roots. And he did, as he put out a fully fledged rap album with 10 cuts featuring soulful loops and boom bap production to prove he's a real artist. On this project, Jack tried to get deep and introspective, which did woo a few rap fans, but not enough. Hip Hop DX said,
Oof. That's true. He did come out with Jackman, bruh. He did. Let's not forget that. He did. And that completely got pushed to the wayside, bro. This is what I'm saying, y'all. We are in a time now where you have to deliver consistently. If you start to deliver a little thing a little bit gauche, we're not feeling it. It is a scary time for anything art related, bro. Because the consumption of the consumer, they're so thirsty for everything. And so everything has this loss of value, bro. It's very saddening.
Alas, despite the attempts of introspection, there's not enough to redeem this record. Jackman is the album version of listening to the kid in class deliver.
I literally forgot about this Jackman album, bro. That's how sad it is. That's how sad the game is,
a
bro.
book report about a novel he didn't read, but wants the class to think he's an expert on. So Jack Harlow made another misstep. He tried to appeal to a more niche audience after all of the criticism, but it didn't really hit like that hard for the rap fans. Of course, people liked it, but they didn't love it. It wasn't some Kanye stuff. On top of that, it did worse commercially because it was less poppy than his other music. So he really did miss both crowds, which resulted in less streams. The album debuted at 8 on the Billboard 200 and sold 33,000 units first week, which was weaker than both his debut and sophomore project. The idea that him trying to rap and get all deep not working can be seen very clearly when right after this album came out and didn't do well, he put out another pop rap type of song called Lovin' on Me, where he sampled Whatever by Cadillac Dale. Going back to the first class style of pop rap songs, he debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. This song also went crazy on TikTok, with a sample being probably the catchiest part about the song. And what's actually really funny is this song to me at least sounded very similar to The Motto by Drake. Just listen to like the first 2 seconds of each song. The drum patterns sound very similar. And on top of that, one of the top comments on The Motto is, the drum pattern used in the track for Lovin' on Me by Jack Harlow reminded me of the song. So clearly, him and the audience knew that pop songs were what worked. After this though, Jack Harlow has only put out 4 singles in the last 2 years.
There it is. Set You Free. I just want to set you free. That one is not bad. That one is not bad. The Just Us with Doja Cat, whatever. But Set You Free, the sample on that is fire. Okay? So let's take a second to at least give Jack Baby a little bit of flowers. But y'all niggas really used him up and spit him out, bro. Y'all niggas are relentless.
Which is kind of strange. He's done a little bit of acting, but he isn't doing a ton with the momentum that he used to have when it comes to his music career, leaving many fans wondering what happened to him and leaving others to just forget about him. Jack does seem self-aware though, and even commented on the current state of his music career after Jackman on the single he put out called Tranquility. He said things like, every day I grow a little less accessible, less of a people pleaser, less flexible. I'm proud of what we have done, but I'm trying to be better though, because I don't really think I've made nothing incredible. A lot of hard verses and a couple regrettable. As far as big records go, yeah, I got a few of those, but I ain't done nothing indisputable. Clearly he's heard what all of the fans have said, and he's seems to have a similar perspective. He seems to think, yes, I've made some decent songs, I made the pop rap songs, I've done well commercially, got some hits, but I haven't put out an album or a project or even a single that is groundbreaking. He hasn't pushed the needle at all. And all of this brings us to his most recent single, Just Us, featuring Doja Cat. Like I said earlier, the song kind of came and went, and most of the discourse was over the music video where it looked like him and Doja were in love, which is especially noticeable or important because of this clip of the two of them on an Instagram Live a few years ago.
Ah, I see you, Doja. Come on in here. Yo.
I need to charge my phone.
I need to talk to you for a second.
My wig is coming up. I gotta go. Thanks for this.
Love you. Oh man, I've had a crush on her for months. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Doja Cat. Oh, I'm over here feeling good now.
All the comments say things like, after the filming ended, they both asked, so what are we? But the downside, of course, is that the discourse was not actually about the song. And this brings me to my third reason as to why I think he's struggling right now, at least in a musical sense. Come Home, The Kids Miss You was weak. He went a little bit too pop, and now he's not really letting his personality shine through like it used to. For so long in Jack Harlow's career, he was in part carried by the fact that he was super online, doing interviews, hanging out with Druski, doing Instagram live streams, joking on his Instagram.
That's what I was saying to you guys at the beginning. Didn't I say that? Huh? Didn't I say that? I said the nigga was too. This is what Denzel Washington was saying to Michael B. Jordan. He said, everyone is on the internet, posting content, trying to be relatable with the youth or whatever the fuck. Why would you get into that? You're a movie star. Why would you get involved with the stuff that the low ball people are getting themselves involved? You don't need to be doing that. You always have to create this sense of separation. But if you're Jack Harlow out here just constantly on Instagram, constantly on social media, constantly just having your face accessible, you're too accessible. And so you diminish your value because you're able to be reached at any point. You're no longer a hot commodity, you know what I mean? You just become a regular guy. You open up Instagram, you're gonna see Jack Harlow again. There's Jack Harlow, there's Jack Harlow, there's Jack Harlow again. Yeah, it's the sad truth. It's the absolute sad truth, man. And it sucks because the label will tell you, the movie studios will tell you, you need to get online, you need to have an Instagram following, you need to have a whatever. But we're not understanding that we are now in a day and age where niggas think that everything is content. Niggas are filming their babies. Niggas are filming their day out. Niggas are filming their fucking work day. Nigga, you're at work. Why are you fucking filming your day at work, my nigga? Why? You're working. We used to just go to work. We used to just wake up and go to work and come home. Now niggas are taking their cameras with them every fucking where. Niggas are going to Target. Niggas are going to Target and they're filming their day. I'm going to Target. They're filming themselves getting out of the fucking car, closing the door, getting a fucking buggy, going inside the fucking store. Huh? They're filming themselves doing all of that. We're creating content. Dude, not everything needs to be content. I think that was the beginning of the end for Mr. Jack Harlow, bro. Is the nigga was too heavy on the Insta, too heavy on the gram. Like, bruh, it's not like that. That's why when you got niggas like Cardi and them doing that whole Mystique thing, niggas always getting mad at them. Niggas be getting mad at them because they're obsessed with having their sort of icon or role model or celebrity ass nigga visible in front of them every time they have some sort of social anxiety and they flick open their phone to jump on Instagram. I'm out of here, man. Y'all niggas cheesing me.